if you skim the incident reports on lakes and rivers, the entries look polite. Capsized canoe, alcohol suspected, no further action. The boxes are neat, the water is not. 10 people sent these nights to me with names shaved off and shorelines blurred. They didn't want headlines. They wanted a rule remembered. If a light bobs where no boat should be, you do not row toward it. If something brushes your ankle and waits, you lift it from the water without naming it. If a voice asks from the black, asking back is how you join it. These are true water stories from lakes, rivers, and piers. Listen like you would watch a wake roll in. Measure its height, plan your balance, and do not lean over the edge because curiosity tells you to. First night. A county pier that breathes with the tide. Planks popping like knuckles as the moon drops. I was crabbing with a box trap and a headlamp. Alone but for a gull that watched like a thief. At 2 a.m. something big rolled beneath the pilings without a sound, and the rope in my hand went slack, then tight like a pulse. I leaned, lamp off to save eyes. A pale oval swelled just under the skin of the water, round as a dinner plate, then turned and showed 2 hollows like eye sockets, set too far apart. It kept perfect station under me while the tide ran the other way. From the beach a voice called, "Hey, you drop a net?" It sounded like my brother. He lives inland. I kept my mouth shut. The oval rose, touched the surface without a ripple, and the air tasted like pennies. I cut the line, watched the trap vanish sideways, and walked backward to shore without turning. I did not fish there again. Second night. A slow brown river behind the paper mill, banked with willow and old tires. We put in at dusk to chase catfish with cut bait, 2 kayaks, 1 glow stick each. Past the bend the air cooled, and the current went glassy, a false slack. My light showed ripples marching upstream like footprints under the skin, coming toward me against the flow. I back-paddled, thinking beaver. The pattern slid under the hull and stopped. Water pressed my ankles through the plastic as if a hand had cupped the boat. In the dark to my left, my friend said my name in a voice that barely moved air. He doesn't say it soft. His green stick hung 50 yards back, still off the bend. The water under me sighed like a sleeping mouth and I dropped the rod without meaning to. I told the river I was leaving. The boat spun once, slow, and the pressure let go. We paddled back upstream and did not speak. We did not go back again. Third night. A kettle lake that looks black by noon and slick as oil by midnight. I swam the buoy line after a cookout to clear my head. Dock lights off, stars fogged. At the ladder I rested, toes pointed to keep from brushing weed. Something cool slid along the bones of my foot and stopped. Not a fish quick flick, more like a palm weighing me. I jerked, splashed, and kicked nothing. The ladder thrummed under my hands like a struck tuning fork. Across the cove, a porch light came on where no house stands. The beam lay flat along the water like a road making itself. From below my knee, a small voice bubbled like air saying, "Come on." So close I tasted the word. I hauled up, skin raw on aluminum, and lay panting, watching rings peel outward without wind. The porch light died. The ladder rungs felt warm afterward, and I found a smear on the third like the print of a child's hand, long-fingered, as if made of clay. Fourth night. The cable ferry across a slow river where the bank smells like iron. I worked the late shift, walking cars on, flipping chalks, thanking folks who tip coffee. Fog rose in ropes and the lantern at the bow showed moths like ash. Mid-channel a lantern blinked back from downstream, same height, same color, swinging in measure with ours. The captain radioed to ask their course. The reply whistled back a static that shaped my name once. Then a laugh I know from my father who's been gone a decade. The boat shuddered as if something took hold of the hull. Not wind, not wake. A ripple ringed us and ran hard for the bank against the flow like a tire rolling uphill. The downstream light lifted and hung over the water, its reflection not touching the river. I walked to the cleat and set my palm on cold iron. I told whatever had gripped us we were working, not visiting. The cable sang one low note and the hull let go. Fifth night. A granite jetty that reaches like a finger into an Atlantic bay. I was throwing eels for stripers with old-timers who taught curses better than knots. The tide cracked through the gaps, and every seventh surge climbed stones like it had hands. My line came tight to something heavy that did not run, leaned. The eel bucked once and then went slack like it had found a hole. I reeled and felt the sinker drag, then stopped dead. In my headlamp, the leader angled down into a crack no wider than my wrist. The rocks around it were dry. Then, from that seam, a pale shape pressed up. Not a fish head, not any head, more like a face shoved through wet cloth, round and flat with hollows where eyes should be. It opened without opening, and I felt pressure in my ears like diving. One old man cut my line with a pocket knife I never saw him carry. He said, "Without looking, we don't feed that." We packed in silence. Sixth night. An irrigation reservoir behind a dam with a spillway that moans when wind stacks waves. A lifeguard day shift but fish that riprap at dusk. The red light above the outflow was steady when I set my chair, then flicked twice as if winking. The bobber slid toward the black throat against the current. The line shaved the rocks like it had been gripped below. From the drains came a steady tapping in patterns, 3 short, 2 long, like someone under tin. I reeled and the hook came back with hair, knotweed, fine and pale, curled like it had been braided and then cut. A voice rose in the culvert, thin as a recorder, piping a tune the summer camp kids sing at swim tests. I saw hands under the grate, long, paler than fish belly, palming the slow. I set down the rod, walked backward up the slope, and did not run. In my bucket, the minnows lay belly up though the water was cool. At home the hook hair smelled of coins when it dried. Seventh night. The shrimp dock where ropes creak like old knees and gulls cheat fish from children. I took the midnight shift refueling charter boats and hosing decks. Around one, a greenish glow drifted in from the channel, steady as a buoy, slow as a drunk. No mast, no hull, just that light, waist high, crossing the slip mouths without a shadow on the pilings. The water against the pier changed tempo, a pulse out of phase with the tide. Then the cast nets on the rail began to drip as if lifted from a dunk, though they'd been stacked dry since afternoon. A voice below the grate said, "Don't start the pump," same cadence as my foreman. Then a second voice said it again wrong, as if with a mouth full of water. The glow slid under the dock and stopped beneath my boots. The slats went cold. In the live well beside me, a single menhaden flipped and went still, gold eye dulling like a coin left in rain. I shut the breaker and waited for the light to leave. Eighth night. A high mountain lake you reach by switchbacks that cut shale and sky into equal pieces. The surface looks like slate until wind ticks it. We camped on the moraine, stoves low, voices lower. At 3, the tent walls brightened as if a headlamp swept the fly. No footsteps, no zipper, just that traveling wash of pale. Down on the shore, a ring of ripple expanded from an invisible center, the kind you get when a dragonfly lands, only this ring grew wide enough to touch both banks. In the middle, a circle of water lay flat as glass inside the ripple, unbothered by wind. The circle slid toward our side without disturbing the chop around it, as if someone dragged a sheet of night under a skin. In the trees behind us, a melody started like a bottle blowing one low note over and over. My partner said my name from the bag, except he was already sitting up. We left the stove, walked uphill, and did not speak until sun hit a peak and the ring was gone. Ninth night. A flooded quarry carved square as a box, edges sharp, water green as bottle glass. Teenagers jump from the crane in July. Divers use it in winter to practice hovering. I swam laps along the rusted catwalk at noon, then came back at dusk to try a night lap, lights clamped to the rail. Halfway, the beam struck bubbles that didn't rise, a column stuck like pearls on a wire. Then my light caught a mask and regulator watching from 10 feet out, no diver behind them, the straps not attached to anything I could name. The mask turned slightly, showing nothing in the glass but quarry wall. My breath found a second rhythm in my ears, not mine, too slow, like a tide learning lungs. On the surface, my timer read a minute slow. The rental shack radio spat my name in a little kid's voice and asked if I'd seen Dad. No one in the lot owned that gear. The bubbles never moved until I left the lights on and walked away. 10th night. A lakefront boardwalk where couples promenade and teenagers jump the rail for dares. Wind pushed faint chop under the planks, and the pylons thumped a heartbeat into the soles. A string of lights went out one by one from the gazebo to the bait shop, not popping, just dimming like breath on glass. At the dark end, something rose in the water like a seal without a head, round and wrong, reflective enough to catch a smear of starlight. It faced the pier without eyes. A man leaned on the rail smoking and said, "That ain't a fish," like prayer. From the pilings, a sound climbed, wooden but wet, knocking in runs that matched the dead bulbs. The round thing slid forward until the rail cast a shadow on it, then stopped as if the dark itself were a fence. My phone buzzed with a call from my own number, the ID showing my photo, the one my wife took when we moved here. I let it ring. The water lapped once against both my shoes and then backed off like it had taken attendance and found me present. Water keeps its own book. If a light waits where no hull rocks it, do not go. If a voice rises from below a grate, answer nothing. If something holds your hull without current, speak your intention to leave and back away. Take your line, your breath, your name with you. Leave offerings for no one. Swim with a partner, but trust silence over a borrowed tone. And when the surface goes still inside moving water, treat it like a door. You do not open it, not even once.